folks, and welcome to the stream. My name is Mike D'Angelo, aka That Tellest Guy. We are going to be looking at some maps again today. Specifically, we're going to be looking at the Watcher's Gatehouse, which we started on last week. We're not going to finish it today, just because I've got a couple of other things to do, and I don't have a tremendous amount of time to do it. So we are going to do a little bit of work, and then we'll be back tomorrow to finish this up. I noticed one thing real quick that we got to remove. We don't need that guy anymore. What we're going to focus on today is the bordering area around the gatehouse. What I'm going to try and do is kind of fill that in with a lot of forest and things like that to make it feel like it's a little bit more lived in and dense, because again, we talked about it last week. We don't really want the enemy, if they're coming towards Argos, to be able to get into the area beyond the gatehouse without first going through the gatehouse. It's the whole point of it being here. It's a point of look out for soldiers of Argos, and it's also kind of where things would have to filter in order for that kind of thing to happen, for travel to occur. Now, what I'm going to do real quick is just put together some trees and things for this area. Let's see what we got. Let's do... Oop. Don't want it to be E. I want it to be tree. You can do it. I believe in you. Oh, dear. I don't know why my computer hates me today. It just does. All right. Let's see. Pardon me for a second. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to throw a whoopsie in there. All right, so the very first thing that I want to do is real quick get a couple of evergreen trees on here. It's a little bit further south than a lot of our things usually go. Does not want to play nice. But I still want to have, a healthy mix of these kind of trees around the area. We'll put a couple there, one kind of hanging off the side there, and then one up there. And we won't do anything with that side. Let's do this next. We're going to grab a couple of these deciduous trees and throw them in the area as well. I'm going to have a little bit of overhang into kind of the area that we have there, and maybe over here as well. And over here, I'm going to no, we're going to save that for a different kind of tree. Put this over here instead. Keeping the good times rolling. I want to do a different kind of tree, so I'll put that one over here, and that way it comes pretty close to sliding over into that area. And same thing that we did here, we kind of did trees in these three corners, but we'll leave it over here so that it's not the same kind of trees every time you're working on them. Let's do some thick old trees, and let's see. Bump that up a little bit. Let's leave that one away from the... Well, the top left is where we didn't have the... we didn't end up having the evergreen, so we'll have that there. And maybe we'll put this one down here. And let's see, let's throw a apple tree over here, and maybe this is where we'll put this guy. I'm going to shrink it down a little bit. Oh dear. Really does not like me today. So it's a little too watercolory. But these ones look pretty nice. I'll dial back the size just a smidge. And we're going to make sure that that shows up in the shadow of the tree. A couple other spots here and there just to make it pop a little bit more. Okay, I am going to real quick lock the gatehouse because I keep on grabbing at it and I don't want that to happen. All right, let's do some other work in here. Let's do a fallen tree or two. Go back into our trees, not teas. Oh, dear Lord. All right, where are our fallen trees? I specifically want to get the ones that have a little bit of growth on them. That kind of fills up the area a little bit. Let's do... Every now and then you can kind of get away with making these look like a fallen branch instead. So we'll do something like that, make it look a little bit different than it usually does. Let's go find our boulder. Why? Why are you doing this? Well, that's cool. I didn't even know that they had the rolling boulder stuff over there. All right, I don't actually like those for the rock types, so we're gonna be a little bit more deliberate about choosing a rock instead. Head back down to our terrain, and we're gonna get one of our big old rocks here. Let's do, I feel like I've done that one in the statuary chessboard, so let's do this one. And one of the things that we did in the sinkhole map that we just worked in was kind of connect these pieces. So let's see if we can't do that and make it look a little bit more, again, we're trying to make things look a little dynamic. So we'll do something like that. Let's dial the size of this one back just a little. I'll make those two look like they come up against each other. And let's see, what else can we do to really kind of make things pop? There have been, well, I'll tell you what, we definitely want some more tree coverage in a lot of these areas. I need some stuff up here. But we didn't do any of the typical trees that we see, so let's go back to that. So if we go to the core, we have a lot of these that we didn't use. So I'll bump this up until it's about the size of the apple tree. 100 is pretty good. And we're going to fill in some of the spots over here. I'm going to scooch one of these some way. Something like that. Hangs over just a little bit. Scooch this one a little bit further down. Maybe scooch this one over here. Keep things rolling. It's the one that I just used, so we'll use something else over here. You know what? We can actually do something down on the path itself. Let's see what else we got. So we've already used some of these guys. Let's see. We're not going to do anything snowy. We are going to do a stump, I think. We're going to a split log. That's not quite what we want to do. I'm looking at the statuary chessboard for inspiration. We know that we are going to need some small logs here and there. Style this back down to 30. It's a pretty good shape. Maybe we'll do something right in this little area, and when the guards go for a pipe break or something, that's a nice place for them to hang out. And we don't really need another log over there, but we could use a stump or two. Legump. Alright. Let's do one more broken tree. I don't want all the trees falling in the same direction, so we'll throw this one over here. Okay, and do need something up there. Let's see what to do. Let's do one more big evergreen. Like that. And we've got 53 changes. That's enough for now. We're going to hit the all save button, and then when we come back from saving, we are going to kind of fill in some of those areas with a different texture to make it pop a little bit more. We'll throw together some more stuff, some bushes, some other plants and stuff like that. And we end up, we may end up kind of bunching these trees together a little bit more as we go, because it's not quite as dense as I think I want, but we'll get to that in a minute. Let's start with our brush. So we're going to go to the forest, I think, and we're specifically going to go for, I believe, we've got grass and we've got forest floor. I think this is the one that we want to use. So let's go here, and we're going to go to about 50%. And yep, that's a good choice. So we're not going to cover everything because we want like the path there to be reflective of the fact that it's relatively clean. Maybe we'll put some more trees into some of these areas. Oh, you know what though? We're going to take a step back because I just noticed the big flaw of our plan. Placement size needs to be changed. Okay, that feels a little bit more genuine. These guys up here. Do a little bit down here as well. All up in here. Doggy's barking. Do a little bit thicker of a pass over. You know what? If I am going to go over there, I'll go over it with smaller opacity. So this one over here is a little denser, so they have to actually push through branches and trees and stuff like that over there. Keeping it coming over here. And like I said, I have a feeling that we're going to have to fill in a lot of these areas with more trees and bushes and stuff like that. Pass through here, so that feels a little bit more natural. And a little bit there, and a little bit there. here? I feel like I didn't. Alright, that's a good start with those things. Things look a little bit more dynamic here. Let's do some more stamps and stuff. We're going to do some bushes and stuff along those lines. Where did my summer bushes go? In the core? There we go. Summer bushes. Oop, I definitely want you to be lower. Are you the same space as the other one? Interesting. Okay, just throwing in some stuff to layer it. Oh, you need to be lower too. Doink. Let's do maybe over there. That's a nice kind of fit. I'll do like another flower or something there. Do one more over here. We don't really need this text here anymore, so let's get rid of that. Let's lock that down because I don't really need to be messing with that one anymore. We're still going to do some bushes. Some around the borders. We'll kind of marry the idea that we had down there. Put some around there just to make it look. It kind of fits in. Let's see. We're going to frame the door over here. A couple more bushes. And let's do... Oop. The only thing that I noticed is that that looks like... Yep. That ended up getting stuck underneath that stamp, so we move that back a little bit. 71 changes. We'll hit save one more time. And there's some forest. I think that I got Luna a little nervous because she heard me throw my bottle. There should be some forest plants that I want to... These guys here. We got flower bushes. We're going to grab some of them. And again, I think what we're going to do is we're going to end up getting some more stuff here and there. But for now, we're just going to put it in a couple places. And we're going to make sure that we get them on the right layers. That's a nice little collection of stuff. Really does fit together relatively nicely. Let's do some stuff on the bottom layer. We're going to cover that, I think, with some grass as well. just so it doesn't look just so very messy. Let's grab one more little bush to put there. Oh, you know what? So we framed the other one in those bushes. We'll do the flower bushes over here. Okay, looking good there. Let's see. Let's do another couple of flowers over on this side. Not quite that big. That. So we got a little bit of a path that we can take through there. I do want to close that up. I want to close up some of this area here. Let's go back to our trees and try and kind of cinch these up a little bit. So we've got these trees over here that I feel like I want to make them a little bit greener. So something like that. 27 and 118 is a nice color, I think. It's a nice fit. So 27 and... Oh! What did I do? Okay, and we should have another one up here somewhere. This guy here. We're not going to do the saturation for that one. We're going to leave that one as is. But we are going to keep on using that. See if we can't spin this guy a little bit. Let's do this actually. Let's do this. We're going to scooch you over, scooch you over, scooch you over, and scooch you over. Decent little path there. Should be good. Got that tree there. I don't want to make it too busy. So that stuff up there should be good. Let's find some more stones to use. Do boulder. Boulder. Come on. Don't you know I got a show to do? Alright, so we're going to do this. Let's dial it back to like 50. Want it to be underneath the tree. Kind of mess with the shape and the size a little bit. Let's do that one and nah, never really feel like messing with those things. Looks nice. Let's go do our flocking. So if we go back to stone and we look at the core, nope, terrain maybe? Where is it? Is it rock maybe? There we go. So we're going to get these guys. Let's dial them back to 30. It's still too big. One of these days I'll remember how big I want these things to be. Okay, we'll do something like that. And we're going to throw some of these together here and there. Am I doing the right thing or am I doing pieces of ruins? I am doing pieces of ruins. Doink, doink. Doink, doink. No one's really going to know, but I'll know. Alright, same size. Looking good. Put these things here and there. Front of the cliff. We'll definitely do it around the cobblestone path here and there. What I usually do is, if there's a spot that I can put it on a cliff, I usually try and do it where there's a little bit of like these little patchinesses, but I'll also take advantage of whatever empty space I can find. We're at 109 changes, so we'll probably be making another save real quick. I have a feeling that we're going to do some... Down here I feel like is okay. We don't need to do too much down here as far as more trees, but maybe in the bottom right we'll do a little bit more. Those trees in the statuary chessboard were real close together, and I want to try and make sure that we're being accurate to the stuff that we want to do. Let's grab another one of our regular trees. Small apple tree over here, just to fill in the space a bit. What are you barking at, Maisie? Let's do... That's a deciduous tree. Let's do one of the thick old trees down there. That's too big. There we go. That's a nice size. Woof, woof, woof. A woof, woof. Okay, and we are going to dry that one out a little bit. Make it look a bit more unique compared to the other ones. Let's see. Let me put it something like right there. Move this tree back a little bit. It's all right, Rihanna. They're okay. I don't think that it's getting too much on the stream. Let them bark. All right, that's a good start, I think. Let's do one more pass with the brush layer, and I am going to specifically go to the forest floor layer, and we're going to dump it to maybe like 35, and we'll see how many passes we need to do. I do want to kind of thicken up the brush layer a little bit. Make it look like there's some broken branches and stuff on the ground. Oh, you know what though? Same freaking problem as last time. Let's go one further and go back to here and move it to 30. And that should make it look a little nicer. Now the branches won't be humongous when we pass into them. Some more up here. So that's the nice thing about like the smaller kind of chunks of texturing that you can do. It'll make things look a lot nicer. You have a couple different versions of the layers you're playing with. The other nice thing is using the first kind of pass and then using these ones makes things look a little bit more layered appropriately. Guys down here. Now down here looks a lot nicer because of all that density. And maybe we'll do something over here that looks a little bit like it's intentionally left open. And this area up here, if we decided to use that, might look nice as well. Maybe some more rocks and stuff like that. Let's dial that one back because we have a lot of those little pieces of rock and everything. And let's do this next piece. Let's go and get some grass from the core set. So again, dialing it back to 30. We're going to keep the same opacity, but we're going to kind of go over this area real quick and make it look a little grassier. Maybe do a second pass too. And we're going to end up kind of going right over that anyway because I want to have like a dirt layer that's scooching its way over top of the cobblestones. Right now that is kind of like an abrupt break into the cobblestones, but the textured layer that we have ought to make it look nicer. Almost there. A couple more spots over there. All right. So let's go back to our dirt, and then we're going to do a smaller kind of push into the road so that it blends nicer. We'll go over that a couple of times just to make sure that that doesn't have such a harsh kind of cut into that area. And then very likely what we're going to do is go right back over it with the grass in a little bit more of like an elegant way. But again, our real goal here is to kind of smooth out the edges of this. Down here really didn't need it as bad as up there did, but it is what it is. Rihanna says, I can hear it. So too can the recording equipment. Yeah, but people love our doggies. Okay, and a little bit more here again. Trying to rough out those edges. next step, again, we're going to go over that with some grass. But the next step is an entire kind of wash of those stones, because I don't want them looking super clean. So let's do 70 is a nice little piece there. I think this looks okay. Looks a little bit more dirt trodden at this point, and not like all these rocks are nice and super clean. So I'm going right over top of the gatehouse because I don't really need to protect it with anything, because we're going to be doing that either next while we're live today or tomorrow or something along those lines. All right. That's a much more natural looking style amongst all that. Let's do another pass or two of the grass around the dirt on the 25% opacity. And that way, again, we'll see a little bit of a normal, natural looking blend. Down here is kind of more brown than I wanted it to look, so we'll do another pass here and there. Okay, and then let's go to, let's do this one more time. Come down here, we've got a lot of brown in here that we need to clean up. A little bit around there. I don't want to lose too much of the foresty bits that we had. But again, I don't want it to look super barren. It should look like nature's still a big piece of this. Okay, we got that one there. Alright, and then for another little piece, we're going to do here and there is a couple of passes. Well, that doesn't look right. I thought that would look a little bit more natural than it did. And it doesn't. Maybe if we mess with the opacity and do that one more time. Maybe make a smaller little area for it to encompass. Nah, don't like it. Experiment, but don't be afraid to say, this isn't working for me. Alright. As far as a lot of the nature bits, I think that came together pretty well. We've got a solid kind of foundation to work with as we continue through with this. But like I said, I have some other work that I need to wrap up. So what we're going to do is let that save, and we're going to pop over to our closing the show page. So folks, on the screen right now, you should see all the places that you can find Tellest on the internet. Tellest.com is the website, so that's a great place to start. But you can also go to a few of the sites that we have premium offerings on. Patreon.com/Tellest is where you can get a lot of our digital goods, and that includes these battle maps in high-res, gridded and gridless versions. And Rihanna is asking if the man do want his chalky milk, and I think the man do want his chalky milk, but not really. The other website that you can go to is tellest.etsy.com. That's where you can find our physical premium goods. That is things like the battle maps on big 20 by 40 mouse pads, the just big gamer pads. You can also find our bookmarks and stickers and our art book and our tabletop game, just a whole bunch of stuff over there. You can also find Rihanna's Weird Witch Wands there, and speaking of Weird Witch Wands, you can find her videos for Weird Witch Wands on tiktok.com/@WeirdWitchWands. And then there's a second TikTok channel that you should look at, tiktok.com/@TalesOfTellest. Those are the adventures of our wacky doggies. Our wacky yappy doggies, which you heard on the stream earlier. So pay them a visit. And then the last two places that I'll bring your attention to for today are our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@WorldOfTellest, where you can find our videos after Twitch will purge them. But Twitch is the best place to find me live. So if you want to do that, you would just go to twitch.tv/thattellestguy. Again, that wraps us up for today, but we'll be back tomorrow to try and do a pretty nice wrap up of this map. And until then, I hope you have a good one, and I miss you.